Today we have the Lenovo IdeaPad 115. This is an entry-level 15-inch laptop. Actually very similar to the IdeaPad 305 we tested a few days ago, but rather than being based on the AMD A6 platform, this is based on the Intel Pentium N3540, which is an Atom Braswell architecture platform. We've got 4 gigs of RAM in here, and as I said, the 15.6-inch display, which is a very basic 1366 by 768 pixel, and that really sums up this device. It is a very basic device. There's a 500 gig storage in there that isn't too fast, although we did notice that it did have a SSD speed up, so it is a hybrid drive in there. Price €399, weight 2.3 grams. And we'll have a look at the casing connectivity. I'm going to give you a couple of the Notebook Check lab test results in terms of screen and CPU and GPU, and the all-important battery life performance test as well. And stay tuned at the end, we'll give you the summary score for the Lenovo IdeaPad 100. So the chassis on this is completely plastic and it's fairly flexible. We saw a lot of flex in the screen and a lot of flex around the area around the keyboard, and in fact in our tests the screen backlight failed, so we weren't able to complete, well certainly for this part of the review, complete all the testing we'd like to do with the screen on. So a little bit of a fault on perhaps on the one that we've got here, but overall those plastics weren't that impressive. Port selection is fairly basic. You got 2 USBs, one of them is USB 3, HDMI, that's a full-size one, full-size SD card slot as well, and an Ethernet port that is only supporting 100 megabits per second, which in 2015 Lenovo isn't that impressive. The IdeaPad 100 has got a non-illuminated chiclet keyboard. It's okay for average use, basic usage, home usage, but if you're looking to do a lot of writing, you probably want to look elsewhere. The mouse buttons on the pad have a short travel and clear pressure points, so actually the mouse buttons weren't too bad, but the mouse trackpad itself is a little bit small. That display, a maximum of 224 nits, that's not very good at all, so certainly not something you'll be using outside. Contrast is fairly basic, of 546:1, and in terms of outdoor use, well, this is a glossy panel, and with that low brightness you're really not going to get much out of it at all. Let's give you a couple of performance results then from the test we did in our lab. Cinebench 11.5, CPU multi 64 bits, a good reference point. 158 points is really par for the course on these entry-level devices. That's going to give you enough to to run your basic spreadsheets, to do your extracting of your zip files, but it's really nothing for example, video editing. On the PC Mark 8 score, 1462 is not very good at all. If we look at that Acer Aspire E5521 again, which is up against, that's scoring 1946, and that's probably because of the enhanced GPU in that A6 6310 CPU or processor that's got there. Disk speeds, unimpressive unfortunately. A maximum read speed we got was 106.9, 4K write speed, which is important for things like indexing, updates, virus checking, that sort of stuff, 0.631. That is really quite bad. Yesterday we tested admittedly something that costs 2.5 times the price, but UX305, which came in at over 100 megabytes per second for the 4K write, so that gives you a reference point there. This is nearly 200 times slower than the Asus UX305 Ultrabook. Now the graphics in this N3540 aren't anything impressive. HD graphics from Intel, 238 points on 3D Mark 11, comes nowhere near the Radeon R4 GPU in the Beamer processors from AMD. But it has to be said that there's a fair bit of video playback performance in here. There's video codecs in here, and in fact there's even some video encoders in here that can help with transcoding files if you need to transcode them down to a smaller size or a smaller bit rate. In terms of gaming, forget it. You won't be able to do any PC desktop gaming on this. Check out the Windows Store for your best options. That's where you're going to find casual games that do work with this device. Now, the battery runtime tests we did, we weren't that impressed. There's a very, very small 24 watt hour battery inside. So with that big 15.6 inch screen, it's not going to return much at all. And in fact, if we look at the Wi-Fi tests that we did, surfing with 150 dpi is where we set it at. 3 hours 19 minutes is really not much at all. Compared to something like that Acer Aspire E15 ES1, that's getting 349 minutes, which is 75% more. So really not that impressive on battery runtime. This is something you'll have to use at home, connected to the power to keep it topped up. So let's get on to the pros and cons, and our verdict on this. Well, it is passively cooled. There's no fan inside, and you could open it up and just pull out that SATA hard drive, replace it with an SSD, and have a completely silent device. With the the fast Ethernet port, you will be able to connect it to your home network and potentially use this as a Kodi station, connected via HDMI to a big screen perhaps. But to be honest, that's really one of the only advantages of this platform. The poor battery life, the lack of, the fast Ethernet rather than the gigabit Ethernet, and the all-round plasticky build really aren't that impressive. So notebook check score for the Lenovo IdeaPad 100, that's the model 15.1, IBY, is 69%. That's very average indeed, and wouldn't be recommended from us based on that score. Thanks to Cyberport for sending it over. Thanks to Sascha for the lab testing and review, and translation from Andreas Osthoff for the English website notebookcheck.net. So that's the Lenovo 100, the IdeaPad 100 reviewed at Notebook Check. A score of 69%. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, because we've got more devices coming up. I've got the HP Pro Tablet 601G1 behind me, and that's going to go on the table tomorrow, so hopefully the video of that will be up tomorrow as well. Please subscribe to get notifications, and if you're enjoying these videos, despite the devices being good or bad, give the video a thumbs up, and then it gives us the power to continue to do these videos for you. My name's Chippy, thanks for watching.